Hello, everyone. Welcome to Alien's Joy. Thank you for watching. I am glad you're here. You might be watching on Roku or on Amazon or Apple TV, or you might be on the platform, you might be on an app, you might be on a replay. I'm very glad to be here with you always. Today's episode is an unexpected episode. And that is because I'm going to do the show today and I'm going to talk about mindfulness, being mindful of your own mind and your own thoughts and your thoughts of not being good enough. I'll tell you, sometimes that happens to us. And although I always like to bring you joy and energy because that's what Elian's Joy is all about, I'll tell you where those weird feelings are coming from and why. We all get those feelings of being insecure, being not good enough, and not being in the right place, maybe not being perfection, and all these things that we put in our head, right, in our minds. Sometimes we feel not good enough, we are not deserving, we don't feel worthy, and that is in our minds. And today I want us to be mindful of that. Why are those thoughts there? I'll give you an example. Last week, I did on Saturday a large event. I organized a large event for International Women's Day. It is so amazing, so much fun, and it's so good to do, right? To just all get together with women, just like we do here on this platform, just like wherever I post this video and you're watching back. How fun is it to be together and to understand each other? So for women, sometimes for men, same feelings, right? Why does this happen to us? Last week, I'll tell you my story of this week. I didn't feel afterwards that I had done a good job. While the event was very successful, it was maybe about 40 plus women, great speakers, lots of great vendors and entertainment. We had raffles, we had lots of goodies. We had some great information to share with each other. And we had super amazing women that received an Women of Excellence Award, right? There's so many women around me that I can just point out and just refer to daily that are also great contributors in the community in a form of donating all their time to volunteer, donating all their time to help others out, doing all kind of programs in the community, right? Or even organizing fun things for women. And these women I had together last week. I even had the mayor, a local mayor, a woman who had ran against men and who won her position as mayor and is in her second term and is doing a great job. I had people that volunteered in all kind of civic organizations, and also, of course, at the library and the Kiwanis Club and the Rotary Club. You know how many people are just phenomenal in donating their time. And I had donated my time to get all these women together. Usually, if I do something big, the week after that, I'm really tired. I'm mentally really tired. And I know that mentally, my mind really starts playing games with me if that's the case. If I'm just exhausted and I don't want to give in, I just want to go, right? And get back to work and get after it and see clients, then that takes away from my recovery time. It really takes away, just go, and work, and get back right after it. Takes a little bit away of my time for myself to let everything sink in and to see that I had done a fun thing. I had done a great event. It was a fun party. I had the girlfriends together, that kind of feel, right? I could be proud of what we had done together and how it all came about and all the information we shared and how many people we met. But I was so exhausted and really tired that I didn't want to give in. I didn't want to admit that, of course. Who knows? No, we're not tired. We're just gonna move on and get straight back, and not giving not giving ourselves enough recovery time is really always that part that tricks with your mind. That's where it comes in. If you're tired, if you're exhausted, if you're not giving yourself kudos, if you're full of self-doubt, and if you start doubting if you have done a good job. And sometimes I feel that if I get so tired that my mind starts playing games with me, what happens to me is I'm thinking, it was not even good enough. Of course, I got kudos and I got compliments. And of course, I embraced it because I had worked hard. And that is what I learned to do, right? Take the compliments. Don't walk away from the compliments. Like we talk so much about, right? We want to walk away from the compliment and go like, oh, no, you silly. Nah, nah, nah. It was nothing. Or no, no, no. Oh, no, I look awful today. That kind of thing we say too, right? We do that because we are so bad at receiving compliments. But I have been good at it. I had really embraced it and said, yes, it was a good time. Thank you. But then I was just tired. And during the week, here it started. I moved on and I worked on new things and I had fun plans and I started creating and I started working with my clients. But meanwhile, I thought, oh man, I didn't do enough. It was not good enough. And why does our mind give us that little voice that says, you're not good enough, right? It was not good enough. It could have been better. Should have done this, should have done that. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? Always going back to these doubtful feelings, these really high expectations that you put on yourself, right? And you think that other people might even have of you, which is really not true because I hope that not everybody is so busy with me or with what I'm doing, right? I hope they're thinking lovingly, kindly of me, but not in the sense of, oh my God, it's not good enough what she's gonna do. But we do that to ourselves. All these thoughts in our mind are that when we do that to ourselves. Where does that come from? For me, sometimes the not good enough, or sometimes, oh, I'm over the top even, comes from, of course, my childhood. And for everybody, we all have a reason that started somewhere, that originated somewhere, right? That thinking. For me, it's both ways. Sometimes I think it's way over the top and I need to slow down. That is definitely something I inherited from my childhood. Because where I grew up, traditionally, we do not step up or step out. Not at all. We conform and we stay on the middle ground. We like to be humble and don't go crazy and don't do anything that other people wouldn't do, right? Very humble, very kind, but um, kind of like flying under the radar with everybody else, as long as you don't stand out, because that is not good if you stand out. And then on the other hand, there is that, of course, that inner voice that even I had as a child that wanted to do something special and not necessarily stand out or be different, but just be unique and be myself and be what I am and be the creator and be the person that can come up with the things and do things for others, right? The stuff that we do, that I like to do. And so for that middle ground, I need to find that middle ground and come together into that place of being peaceful with the fact that we are unique. And why is our mind messing with that? And that just is normal if we're tired. And sometimes we have to allow that. Sometimes we have to be mindful of that. And I wasn't really mindful of that either, in a sense of being aware that the quality, my state of being, was not really conscious. I wasn't really aware of the fact that I needed to give myself some time. Sometimes you just need some time out and time away and just step back and look at it that way, right? And mindfulness is that quality or that state of being that gives you that awareness, that gives you that time. And we all need to do different things for that mindfulness. So we all have practice tools, right? I talked about that so much. We can do a little body scan meditation. We can go out for a walk and listen to music. We can be by ourselves outside in nature. We can do a little mindfulness practice and just listen to a guided meditation. We can do breathing techniques together. We can cultivate that mindset so that we allow ourselves to be exactly what we are in that moment. And if that is a quiet week, or if that is a uppity downy week, or just a little bit of a sad week, or a little bit I fall into this big old hole, right? Week where you just don't really know where to go with that. It's okay. We need to allow ourselves that. And I am not very good in finding that allowance, right? To not be on top of things all the time. And we all do that. And that feeling of unworthy, why we feel unworthy, why do we do that? That goes back so far, and that can go back to yesterday or even further, but it can usually go far back, right? Usually it can go far back. And we have to find out sometimes where that comes from so we can point out better that if those feelings are overcoming, if those feelings are overwhelming us, that we can place it, allow it, be okay with it, and say, it is just the way I am right now. And we don't always have to be in that state of imperfect perfection, right? Run, 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 run. Being vulnerable has always been kind of a struggle for me, not really knowing where to find that because I want to be the strong one. And being vulnerable and allowing that and just being able to go through the motion of it is difficult sometimes. And where does that all this come from? That's not having the self-esteem or not having the confidence or going back to that childhood trauma where people took that away from you, right? Or just feeling that you're different or that you have to constantly move into a show of expectations because you want to please the rest of the world. All that stress, all that mental stress that you put on yourself has to do with not loving yourself enough in the minute. It is just all that. That's what it comes down to. It is not enough allowing yourself to be just that in a minute, in a moment. And what can we do for that? We just have to release that anxiety. Sometimes we just have to sleep. That's what we do really well and what is really healing. We need to get enough sleep. We need to really take care of our body. We really need to move through it. Sometimes I call that move with and move through and move forward, right? All the M's that will just move you through that motion or through that week or through these moments of feeling unworthy. If we're mindful of it, that I'm feeling it, if I'm mindful of it, that I'm feeling it, and I became mindful of that this week because I didn't know exactly where my unrest, my sadness almost, where my emptiness was coming from. And if I allow myself to recognize that and I go into a state of really being conscious, being mindful, and recognize it's okay, it's just you're just tired, or you just need to allow yourself to kind of sleep it off, or you just don't have to show now, don't have to show up. If I do that, then I allow myself more time. It is so much easier if I have that time, if I have that space around me created out of love for myself. It's really hard to come to that place of love for yourself. And that has to do with that not being good enough. We feel that so many times, right? We are rating ourselves constantly on the not good enough scale. We can have that at work, we can compare ourselves with others, or we feel that we are working under an expectation frame from others, that we are working because somebody's looking over our shoulders or wants us to be this or be that or do this or do that. And if we see it and feel that, then we feel that pressure on the shoulders. And what does our body do? Right, we just go all the way into that stress body and we feel it in our shoulders everywhere. One of the things I always say, one of the most important things I always say that you can start with is just allow yourself again to come into that meditative state of mind, to come into that mindfulness being, roll your shoulders back, open your heart, and just relax the shoulders, your neck, and your whole upper body. Relax the forehead muscles, relax your face, relax your jaw. Ah, it feels so good when you let all that go and you do that very mindful and very quiet. It's really, really good for you. And all these things that we see around us can cause us to fall into that little trap of not feeling worthy and not being mindful at the same time of it. We are sometimes passed over for a promotion, or sometimes not getting something we want, or sometimes just everything around us seems to fall on us, right? That's when we say life gets at us. And I always say, of course, it's our reaction to it, right? That makes us stressed out or that makes us happy. Our reaction to the things around us, the things that are happening, is exactly what determines our next step. And that's why that is so important. Life gets at us all the time. We get better at it. And I got better at it this week to allow myself the time to process these emotions. Even if I didn't like them, or if they were feelings of not worthy, or if there were feelings of not being good enough, or what in the world do I need to do next? It has nothing to do with me trying to prove. It is all to do with me and my inner being, right? I want to prove something to myself. It's not necessary. I'm okay. I'm unique. I'm myself. And I am just okay. And I want you to repeat that many times to yourself this week as well. Just believing in your heart that who we are is the key to a satisfying and balanced life. Believing that we are enough. To know that in our hearts that we are enough. I am enough and you are enough. You are enough and I am enough. And if we can just believe that, then we can step into that really satisfying and wonderful, balanced life. Then we'll take a deep breath and rest a little bit more. I hope to be with you next week. I hope we're going to have a wonderful episode. I have an amazing guest next week. I'm looking forward to that again. And so this short but unique little talk today was all about to give you some joy, to give you some pep, and to feel great about yourself. Because we are joy, we are happiness, and I want to share that with you. And you are unique. Have an amazing day. Make it an amazing week. And I'll see you next week. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you for watching Alion's Joy.